Today we will talk about Pearl Hart, the lady bandit of the Wild West. Pearl Hart was born as Pearl Taylor in 1871 in Canada. Raised in a respectable family, she had a rebellious spirit from a young age. As a teenager, she eloped with a gambler named Frederick Hart, moving to the United States. Their marriage was turbulent, with reports of abuse. Though she left him several times, she often returned. By the 1890s, Pearl had made her way to Arizona, taking up various jobs, including working as a saloon singer and a cook. She became drawn to the rougher elements of frontier life, gambling, drinking, and idolizing famous outlaws like Jesse James. In 1899, facing financial hardship, Pearl and her accomplice, Joe Boot, decided to rob a stagecoach traveling between Globe and Florence, Arizona. Disguised as a man, Pearl held the passengers at gunpoint while Joe collected around $400 from the three passengers. Hart took pity on them and handed back $1 to each so they could buy something to eat when they arrived in Florence. $400 is roughly $15,000 today. After the robbery, they released the passengers and attempted to escape into the desert. Their freedom was short-lived. Authorities quickly pursued them, and within days, both were captured. Pearl's trial in Florence, Arizona, became a sensation. Female outlaws were rare, and the press was captivated by her story. Initially, she was acquitted, but after being retried on different charges, she was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Pearl Hart became the first woman sent to Yuma Territorial Prison. Newspapers painted her as a Wild West bandit queen, and she embraced this reputation. Then, in 1901, it was discovered that she was pregnant. Despite being in a prison with only 2 men who had been alone with her, a minister and the governor of Arizona, Alexander Brody. To avoid scandal, the authorities hastily arranged for her release. After giving birth, Pearl reportedly worked as a prostitute before being arrested again in 1904 in Deming, New Mexico, suspected of involvement in a train robbery. Due to lack of evidence, she was released. She later performed with Buffalo Bill's Wild West show and is said to have eventually married a rancher in Arizona. It is said in total, Pearl had 2 children, both sent to be raised in Canada. Her later life remains shrouded in mystery. Some say she lived a quiet life, while others claim she continued a life of crime. Reports suggest she passed away around 1960. Pearl Hart remains one of the most famous female outlaws of the Old West. Her daring stagecoach robbery and defiance of societal norms have cemented her place in Wild West legend, capturing the imagination of historians and enthusiasts alike.